Well, you remember those silent bats of the Cubs? They finally erupted today. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies 10-7 at Wrigley Field, a win that was made possible by a 4-hit afternoon by Mike Vail. The Phil starter, Dan Larson, found lots of trouble in the very first inning.
Ground ball, and it bounces off Rose's glove at first base, and the Cubs caught a big break. There's a well-hit ball to left, and here comes Ivan DeJesus racing for the plate, and he will score. Wait a minute, is that a balk? He did, he balked one in. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Larson. That's a pretty well-hit ball. Deep to right, back. Hey! A home run for Blackwell. A home run for Timmy Blackwell.
Bob Boone made it a 6-2 game in the second inning.
That's hit. Back she goes. Way back there. The wind's going to help it. It is gone. A two-run homer by Bob Boone.
In the third, Mike Schmidt and Gary Maddox tightened the score further.
There's a base hit, center field, and Rose takes the turn. He's going to go for the plate because the ball is bobbled momentarily out there. There's a line shot left field. That's going to bring in two, it looks like. Yep, they're waving Luzinski on in. Here's the throw by Vail. He is safe.
Then in the fifth inning, Mike Vail put the game out of reach. There it is.
There is a high drive. Way back. Going. Wave it over Waveland. A two-run blast by Vail.
10-7, the final score. Rick Rusho gets the win. The good old Cubs combined clutch hitting and the long ball out at Wrigley Field today. Came away with a 5-4 win over the Phillies to wrap up their homestand. The Phils led 1-0 in the third when Mike Schmidt smashed one to short.
One was booted by DeJesus. Pete Rose comes in. Blake McBride takes third easily, and that really hurt.
Philadelphia stretched the lead to 3-1 through 3, and Scott Thompson kept it that way with the help of some great acrobatics. Let's watch it now. He'll fall, he gets to his feet, and he still manages to make the catch. How about that? That's quite a play by Scott. Proved to be a good omen for the Cubs, too, as Scott makes the play, because then the comeback. Dave Kingman tightens it up in the fifth.
A high fly ball deep left center. Going, and gone. Home run. Left center field leaps, and King Kong strikes again.
Then in the sixth, Larry Bittner pinch hits the Cubs to the lead.
That's pretty well hit. Deep to right, back. Hey! Bittner did it. The Cubs lead.
It wasn't over yet. Mike Schmidt batting in the seventh.
Well hit, deep to right, way back in right center. Back she goes. It's gone. It's a home run for Schmidt.
But Scott Thompson topped his catch with a game winner in the seventh.
There's a line fly, short left center, dropping in, base hit. Here comes Kingman with the lead run, and the Cubs are out in front, 5-4.
Dick Tidrow got the win, Bruce Sutter the save. The Cubs begin a 10-game road trip tomorrow. Well, we needed a victory, and by golly, we got one. The Cubs relied on Lynn McLaughlin for some offense and some defense in Philadelphia today. He gave them both, and the Cubs beat the Phils 2-0. Lynn doubled in the third, rode home with a winning run off the bat of Mike Tyson.
There's a ground ball, a base hit. Past third baseman Schmidt. That's going to be an extra base hit for Tyson. The Cubs have a run, and DeJesus makes it to third. Nice going.
And it stayed 1-0 until Ivan DeJesus drove home the insurance run in the seventh.
There's one up the middle, base hit. Here comes Blackwell. Here's the throw in now. It's going to be close. He is safe.
And a fine 2-0 victory for our side. McLaughlin gave up 6 hits in 8 innings for his third win of the year. Bruce Sutter.
It was, Marty. It was a great day out there. And as a matter of fact, the Cubs put on a little celebration for him, a big hit parade. And we'll have the details of today's game and celebration, right? In honor of Old Timers Day, the Cubs staged an old-fashioned hit parade and came away with a 10-5 victory over Atlanta. The attack began in the very first inning.
Fly ball by DeJesus. And the shortstop Blanks loses that ball in the sun. There's a base hit. And here comes DeJesus rounding third, and Cookie says, keep coming, pal. And the Cubs have themselves a run. And there's a check swing, fly ball, base hit into short right, and that's going to be a run. Bill Buckner, bad wheels and all, scored from second on that check swing base hit by Vail. There is a base hit for Berry, and here comes another run.
The same cast of characters put on a show in the second inning.
There's a ground ball, and that one escapes Glenn Hubbard. And here comes Denny Lamp. As Murphy starts to cock his arm to throw the ball, it slips out of his hand. Fly ball. That may bring one in. It's in short right center. It drops. It's a base hit. And safe all around. That'll go for a run-producing single again. There's a base hit. Here comes Randall. Here comes Buckner. Murphy throws. Buckner is safe. It was cut off by Niekro.
Earlier in the day, an old-timers contest between the 1945 Cubs and Detroit Tigers. Andy Pafko still has plenty of range in center field, and he almost threw out this runner at home plate. The main purpose of this game was fun, so nobody minded an error or two. Detroit came out on top, 4-1 in the two-inning game, just as they won the World Series 35 years ago. Kind of nice to remember that we were in a series, though. Back to present-day concerns, Dave Kingman.
Well, baseball's trading period expires at 2 a.m. tonight, and there have been no deals of any kind today up till now. Cubs general manager Bob Kennedy told us just a minute or two before we came on the air tonight that he's called everybody but the Pope, to use his own words, and he's been unable to make a trade. He said, I've heard a lot of confessions, but I can't hear any trading. Kennedy says it's quiet throughout the major leagues. Well, Mike Krukow snapped a personal 6-game losing streak as the Cubs beat the Atlanta Braves 4-1 at Wrigley Field, where a cold wind was blowing in the very first inning. Lenny Randle shows some very fancy footwork. There's a beautiful stop by Lenny Randle. Picks himself up, makes this play, and take a look at this one. You may not believe it in looking at the replay even. You want to see a guy with cat-like reflexes. Watch Lenny Randle here. There it is. Now watch him. Look at this. Bill Buckner drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first and came to the plate in the third.
Drops. Krukow's coming home. It'll be a 2-0 game, and Billy Buck has driven them both home.
In the fourth, Jerry Martin challenged the weather and won.
Martin just driven one a mile. Is it fair or foul? It's a home run into the teeth of a gale, blowing right against that ball.
Atlanta had the tying run at bat with 2 out in the ninth. There's a hot smash, and it's caught by Kelleher. The game is over. Oh, what a finish. Little Nick really grabbed one off. Here it is. He really rips into this one. Watch this shot. And Kelleher grabs it, and this ball game is all over. The Cubs beat the...
What do you think, John? I have to say some nice things about the Cubs tonight.
Oh, I tell you, they were hot. It was great to see. Everybody was happy. They had a big crowd, nice afternoon, grand slam homer. Everything was great. Let's just hope they can put 2 games back-to-back like that, right? But we have trouble with the White Sox. The White Sox, plenty to cheer about at Wrigley Field today. The Cubs blanked the Cincinnati Reds 7-0. Ivan DeJesus opened the scoring in the second inning.
There is a soft liner base hit. Here comes one in, and here comes Tyson following foot. The Cubs are out in front by 2 on a soft liner single to center by DeJesus.
And it was 3-0 when Jerry Martin batted in the 7th.
Oh, that's hit. Way back. Say goodbye. Hi. A grand slam home run for Jerry Martin. Woo, boy.
Dennis Lamp got
Frank,
the
the other sports guy in this program, Jerry Gerard from New York, says that Sugar Ray Leonard is going to beat Roberto Duran. And
Well, there were actually two games at Wrigley Field today. One was between the Cubs and the Reds, and the Cubs won it by a score of 5-2. The other was between the Players and the Winds. It ended in a draw. More on the weather in a moment. Let's watch Cincinnati go out in front in the second inning.
Fly ball, right field. And Mike Vail misjudges this one. The wind carried it away from him. And consequently, Kennedy is on second base. And Dreesen is across the plate.
Ken Henderson put the Cubs on the board in the fourth.
There's a line drive to left. That's going to drop in for a hit. Vail's going to come home. The Cubs are on the board. And it's a 2-1 game, Reds.
And the Cubs finally went ahead to stay on Mike Vail's single in the seventh inning. They eventually won the game 5-2. Now let's see how those high winds turn things upside down.
Fly ball, left field. And it is caught out there by Henderson, who really had an adventure with that one.
High fly ball, left field. But the wind's going to flatten it out, and Henderson's going to have to run like the Dickens to come and get it. And he does! Holy Toledo! Henderson.
Yes, that's hard to believe. Watch this play. Now, Henderson went back to the wall. Now, with that strong wind, brings it back. Look at what he has to do. He has to make a diving catch.
There's a fly ball, center field. Now Collins has got his problems running for this one.
Oh, look at this. There's one.
See what happened to that? How do you score that?
8-6. 8 with an assist. Watch this. Hits his glove, bounces out of the glove. He hits it again. Up in the air. He hits it too far away. He's out of reach. But there is Concepcion grabbing the ball.
And that's the reason fans go to Wrigley Field. In baseball, the Cubs go to Wrigley Field. In baseball, the Cubs began a weekend set with Atlanta in good fashion tonight. Lynn McLaughlin supplied the pitching for a 4-2 win. Number 3 in a row for the Cubs. Ken Henderson put Chicago on top in the second inning.
Ball 1, strike 2. Make it 2-2. Pretty well hit deep to center. Way back there. Back. Hi, hi! A home run for Kenny Henderson.
In the fourth, Barry Foote made it a 2-0 game.
That's through the hole. Martin's going to be waved. Burrows can't come up with it cleanly. Wouldn't have made a bit of difference.
The teams traded runs. Then Mike Vail made it 4-1 in the seventh.
Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. In comes the run.
And Bill Naharodny narrowed the margin in the bottom of the inning.
Swings on that first one, and that could be gone. That is a home run. Wow. Tango.
And the Braves put the tying runs on base in the ninth, but Bruce Sutter put out the fire for save number 16. McLaughlin gets the win tomorrow night.
I have the highlights for you.
I did miss it.
Not such good news for the White Sox. All of it right after this. And the Cubs' 3-game road trip to Atlanta, short and sweet. Long balls helped them to a come-from-behind 3-2 win today. Their second win in 3 days against the Braves, and things started out on the wrong foot when Jeff Burroughs batted in the fourth.
There's a high drive to center. That ball will be gone.
Then in the fifth, Ivan De Jesus cut the 2-0 lead in half.
They're going to get off the shortstop and bounce into left. Foote's going to come home. The Cubs are on the board, and they've sliced that Atlanta lead in half. Boy, that ball had eyes.
Then in the sixth inning, Bill Buckner and Jerry Martin go to work.
There's one. What did I do?
Way
I just got
there,
through
back she
calling.
goes.
That's
Hey,
it.
hey! Attaboy, Billy Buck. He really got hold of that one.
Ball 2, strike 2. Pretty well hit, deep to left. Back she goes. Back. Hey!
In the seventh, Ken Henderson saved the lead with some nice defense.
There's the pitch, and there's a line drive in the left field, a base hit. Here comes Blanks racing for the plate. Here's the throw by Henderson.
Cub pitching let one get away today, then came back to shut down the St. Louis Bats as the Cubs gained a doubleheader split with the Cardinals out at Wrigley Field. In the opener, things looked great in the third inning.
Looping fly ball left. Going to drop in, base hit. Kennedy plays it on the first bounce. Tyson scores. That's through the right side, a base hit. Randall will score easily.
Now the scorer has latitude there.
Lined into right center, base hit. Cliff Johnson will waltz home.
5-0 through 3. It was 6-3 when George Hendricks batted in the 7th.
Uh-oh, look out for this one. That's a goner. George Hendricks hits it way back there. Out she goes. Home run.
Then a disastrous 9th inning.
Ground ball left to second. That's a base hit. That'll bring one in. Now look out. The tying run is on base with nobody out. There's a fly ball deep to left center. Way back there. It is off the vines. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Here comes Oberkfell, and he is out at the plate.
The Cards added another 8-6 the final. Bruce Sutter took the Cub loss, his 4th of the year. Game 2 started out on the same sour note. The second error of the first inning. Steve Dillard will charge the Hernandez grounder. Throw wildly. Bill Buckner and Keith Hernandez collide. Hit the turf. Both players left the game. Buckner with stitches over the right eye, not serious. Hernandez, bruises, cuts, and a possible concussion. Scott Thompson's going to have some trouble. A long fly ball. He's under it, right? Wrong. Runner from third, Leon Durham, score, and the Cubs were down by a run with 3 errors on the board, but not for long. Steve Dillard batting in the 2nd.
There's a drive to right field, curving away from Hendricks. And let's see if Joey sends him in. Nope. But he's going to try it anyway, and he makes it.
It stayed tied till Cliff Johnson won the game in the 6th inning.
Ground ball, base hit. Cubs take the lead.